Hi students, welcome to another video of Smartly Learn. In this video, let's see how to solve the section D from the set 3 paper of 2026 Maths. So first let's start with 32A. Solve the following system of linear equations graphically. So the equation that you're looking at is x minus 2y is equal to 3 and 3x minus 8 is equal to y. So first let's write out the equations. X minus 2y is equal to 3 and 3x minus 8y is equal to 7. So first we need to plot these points. So first we'll start with the first equation, which is x minus 2y is equal to 3. So in this equation, I'm going to hypothetically assume some x values. So this is x and y. So I'm starting with say minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. And if I need, I can go on more, but we'll stop for now this. So I'm going to substitute x is equal to minus 1 here. So this gives me my y value is minus 2. X is equal to 0 is minus 3 by 2. X is equal to 1 is minus 1. X is equal to 2 is minus half. X is equal to 3 is 0. Now let's do this whole thing again for the next equation, which is 3x minus 8y is equal to 7. So let's hypothetically assume some x values and generate the value of y. So 3x minus 8y is equal to 7, x values and y value. So this is going to be starting from minus 1, 0, 1, 2 and 3. So let's substitute the value of x is equal to minus 1. So you will be getting minus 5 by 4, 0 is minus 7 by 8, 1 is minus half, 2 is minus 1 by 8, 3 is 1 by 4. These seems to be difficult values to plot in the graph. So first we will also find out what is the value or point in which these two lines are going to intersect. So we will separately do this as a rough work just for us to know which point it is going to meet. So 3x minus 2y is equal to 3. I'm going to multiply this equation with 3 so that I can eliminate x. So 3x minus 6y is equal to 9 and you have a 3x minus 8y is equal to 7. If you subtract, you will get 2y is equal to 2. So y is equal to 1. Now y value 1, if I substitute in this equation, I will get the x value to be 5. So the point of intersection in both these cases will be 5, 1. Now let's try to plot the graph for this. So I'm going to mark approximately an axis like this. So this is the x axis and this is the y axis. I'm going to mark x is equal to minus 1 and minus 2 just for reference. As far as y, this is minus 1, this is minus 2. X axis, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. I'm going up till 5 because we may need that 5, 1. So this is plus 1, this is going to be approximately plus 2, plus 3, plus 4 and plus 5. Now let's start to mark the points. X is equal to 0. In the first case, it marks minus 3 by 2. So it is minus 1.5. I'm marking the point approximately here. Then x is equal to 1. It is going to be minus 1. So this is where I'm marking it. X is equal to 2, it is going to be equal to minus half. So the point somewhere lies here. X is equal to 3 is 0. And in this case, it is going to 4, it will be probably half and 5, it will be 1. So let's first connect all these points. I'm drawing a very rough graph. So now let's mark this equation. This is going to be x minus 2y is equal to 3. Now let's plot the other lines. So this is x is equal to minus 1 means y is equal to minus 5. It's somewhere below. So I'm going to skip that. So I'm starting with x is equal to 1, which is equal to minus half. So 1 to minus half, the point will somewhere be here. To minus 8, I don't know how difficult it is going to mark. So I'm skipping it. For x is equal to 3, this part is going to be 1 by 4. So even less here. Then x is equal to 5, y is equal to 1. So the line is approximately going to look somewhere around like this. This is a very rough diagram, but visually this is the line you will be looking at. So I'm marking this line as 3x minus 8y is equal to 7. I'm marking this point of intersection as A and marking its coordinates as 5, 1. So in the graph, ensure that you're drawing everything using a pencil. No pens are allowed. Mark each lines or a corresponding equation and also the point of intersection, which is 5, 5 comma 1. Now let's move on to the second question. So here it is the OR option. So 5 years ago, Adil was thrice as old as Bharat. 10 years later, Adil shall be twice as old as Bharat. To know the present ages of Adil and Bharat, form a linear equation representing the above situation. Show that the system of equation is consistent with unique solution. Find the present ages. So first let's declare the variable x be present age of Adil in years. So I'm going to use the variable y for the present age of Bharat in years. So this is a declarative statement. Now let's move on to the first subdivision. Form a linear equation representing the above information. So 5 years ago means x minus 5 is thrice as old as Bharat. So if it is 5 years ago for Adil, then it is 5 years for Bharat too. So 3 times of y minus 5. Second case is 10 years later. So x plus 10 is equal to twice as old as Bharat. So 2 into y plus 10. So this answers the first subdivision, but you can simplify and keep it here itself so that it will be easy for later reference. So this is x minus 5 is 3y minus 15, which means x minus 3y is equal to minus 10. In case of second one, it is x plus 10 is equal to 2y plus 20. So x minus 2y is equal to 10. So let's write out the equation. X minus 3y is equal to minus 10. X minus 2y is equal to plus 10. So we will mark these two equations. It answers the first subdivision and we have also simplified and written it. Now let's look at the second division. Show that the system of equations is consistent with unique solution. So let's write the condition for unique solution. A1 by A2 not equal to B1 by B2 will be the condition for consistent and unique solution, right? So both you need to list. So it is a condition for consistent and unique solution. Now let's substitute what is A1, which is 1. A2 is also 1. It is not equal to minus 3 by minus 2. So this is 1 is not equal to 3 by 2. So we were able to show that this has a consistent unique solution. Now that's done. Now let's find out the present ages of Adil and Bharat, which is the third subdivision. So let's calculate, or we are going to simplify the value from these equations. Let's find x and y. So x minus 3y is minus 10 and x minus 2y is equal to plus 10. I'm going to do subtraction to eliminate x. So this vanishes. So this will become plus 2y. Minus 3y plus 2y is minus y. Here when you subtract, you get minus 20. So y is equal to 20. Now let's substitute that here. So this will be x minus 60 is equal to minus 10, which means x is equal to 50. So the age of Adil is 50 years and the age of Bharat is going to be 20 years. We can also cross check the status. So what did they say? 5 years ago, Adil is 3 times older than Bharat. So 5 years ago, his age would have been 45. Bharat's age would have been 15. 45 is 3 times 15. So the statements hold true. Then 10 years later, Adil would have been 60 and Bharat would have been 30. They will be twice, Adil will be twice that of Bharat. So that statement also holds true. So now that we know, this is a simple verification of our question. So we know that the answer is right. Now let's move on to the next question in this exercise, which is finding the mean and the mode for the given frequency. So I'm going to write out what is the xi here nearby. Class interval is 0 to 15. So the xi will be upper class plus lower class interval by 2. 15 plus 0 by 2, so this is 7.5. In the next case, it will be 22.5. Here it will be 37.5. Then comes 52.5, 67.5, 82.5, and finally 97.5. Now that we have generated the mid values, let's compute the xi yi because the mean is going to be xi FI, but here the XIs are all in decimal, so I don't want to do the direct mean method. I'm going to do an assumed mean method or step method, whichever works easier. So first let's count the number of class intervals: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm picking the middlemost value, so which is 52.5 to be the assumed mean. So A is here going to be 52.5. I'm going to compute UI, which is Xi minus A divided by 15. So if you take the first case, this value will be actually equal to minus 3. Here it will be minus 2 because 7.5 minus 52.5 divided by 15 is minus 3. Similarly, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Now let's compute the FI/UI. So FI/UI will be multiplication of this frequency table column along with the UI that we generated. So this is minus 27, minus 30, minus 35, 0, 11, 26 and 51. If you add minus 27, minus 30, minus 35 with 11, 26 and 51, then it is going to be equal to minus 4. Now we can substitute in the formula. So X bar is equal to A plus sigma FI/UI divided by sigma FI into the class interval. In this case, I'm marking it as 15. So let's substitute the value. A is 52.5 plus this top is going to be minus 4 divided by, let's compute the sum of the frequency here. So 9 plus 15 is 24. Plus 30 is 54, 59, 79, 80, 90, then 100, 103, 110, 120. So this is going to be 120 into 15. This is 1 times, this is 8 times. So this becomes 52.5 minus 4 by 8, which is minus 0.5. So the mean of this distribution is 52. Now the second part of the question was mode calculation. Mode doesn't require all this, so I'm just removing this part. Let's directly substitute the value in the formula. So mode is equal to L plus F0 minus, F1 minus F0 divided by 2 F1 minus F0 minus F2 into H. So let's start to find out what is the lower limit. So in order to know that, we need to know the frequency class interval with maximum frequency is this. So the class modal class is 30 to 45. So L is 30 plus F0 is 15, F1 is 35, F2 is 20. So let's start to substitute. 35 minus 15 divided by 35 into 2 is 70 minus 15 minus 20 into, there is a class width which is 15. So this is 30 plus, this is going to be 20 divided by, this is 70 minus 20 is 50, and here there is a 35 into 15. So we are going to strike in 5 tables. This is 4 times, this is 7 times. So 30 plus 15 fours are 60 by 7. 60 by 7. So this is 30 plus 60 by 7 is approximately 8.57. So the mode is going to be 38.7 approximately. So now let's move on to the trigonometric based question, which is question number 34. There is a choice here. So first let's start with the first sum. The angle of elevation of a top of a building. So the angle of elevation of the top of a building from a point A on the ground is 30 degrees. So first I'm going to mark a building like this, and I'm marking the horizontal line and point A here. So from point A, the angle of elevation of the building is 30 degrees. On moving a distance of 24 meters towards its base to point B. So from A to B, the movement is 24 meters. The angle of elevation changes to 60 degrees. So this angle of elevation will become 60 degrees. I'm marking this point as C and this point as D. I'm marking the vertical height of the building as H and the distance between B and C as X. You're asked to find out the height of the building, which is H, and the distance of point A from the base of the building. So you're asked to calculate what is H and you're asking what is AC. So if you compute what is X, you can simply add it to this. So let's start with the first triangle. So in triangle ACD, tan 30 degree is equal to h divided by 24 plus x. So 1 by root 3 is equal to h by 24 plus x, or 24 plus x is equal to h root 3. Now we will keep this aside. We will do this process for this next triangle BCD. So in triangle BCD, tan 60 degree is equal to h divided by x. So root 3 is h by x, or x root 3 is equal to h. Now I'm going to substitute this value into the first equation that you have. So h I'm going to replace with x root 3. So this is 24 plus x is equal to x root 3 into root 3, which is 3x. So 2x is equal to 24. So x is equal to 12. So we got the value of x to be 12. Now what is the value of h? H is equal to x root 3. So h is equal to 12 root 3. They gave root 3 is equal to 1.73, which means we need to find the value of h in decimals. So 12 into 1.73, which is approximately equal to 20.76 meters. So now let's find out h value. We calculated it to be 20.76 meters. They asked what is AC. AC is AB plus x. So it is 24 plus 12, which is equal to 36 meters. Now let's move on to the option B and try to solve. This is another applications of trigonometry question. A tower stands vertically on the ground. So I'm going to draw a tower which is going to be like this. Then it stands on the ground. A man stands at the top of this tower, observes his friend at an angle of depression. So a man is standing here observing his friend with an angle of depression. Always mark on the top for the angle of depression before you mark this particular point. So this is going to be 30 degree. Who is approaching the foot of the tower with a uniform speed. So the distance this friend travels is a uniform speed. 30 seconds later, the angle of depression changes to 60 degree. So I'm going to mark a particular point here, and remember to mark the angle of depression. So this is 60 degree. So this is 60 degrees. Now I'm going to mark all the vertices. So this I'm marking as A, B, C, and D. And let's mark the variable for this. AB is h, BC I'm marking as x, CD is going to be marked as y. Now let's compute what is going to be the time taken. The question is, find the time taken by his friend to reach the foot of the tower from this point. So from point C, we need to find out what is the time taken by the friend to reach the distance or the base of the tower, which is going to be B. Okay, he took 30 seconds to travel this distance CD. So I'm marking it for reference here. Now let's start with the triangle. So in triangle ACB, tan 60 is going to be equal to h by x. So root 3 is h by x. So h is equal to x root 3. Now that we got this, so let's keep this aside. Now let's go to the bigger triangle. So triangle ABD, tan 30 degree is going to be equal to h divided by x plus y. So 1 by root 3 is equal to h divided by x plus y. So x plus y is equal to h root 3. I'm going to substitute this value here, which means x plus y is equal to x root 3 into root 3 is 3x. So y is equal to 2x. So we got that relationship, y is equal to 2x. Now that they have given that in the problem that they travel with a uniform speed. So the speed is not going to change, which means if the time taken to travel the distance y is 30 seconds, the time taken to travel distance x will be half the time taken to travel the distance y. So how much did they take to travel the distance CD? 30 seconds. So the time taken to travel the BC will be half of that, which is equal to 15 seconds. So the time taken by his friend to travel from point C to B is 15 seconds, and from point D to B will be 45 seconds. Now let's move on to the last question. It's given that in triangle ABC, AD is a median, X is a point on AD such that AX is to XD is equal to 2 is to 3, BX is extended so that it intersects AC at Y. Prove that bx is equal to 4xy. So first let's start with basic construction of the triangle. So I'm marking a triangle A, B and C. I'm dropping the median from A, which is AD, and from B I'm drawing a line Y which crosses AD at the point X. Now let's list out what is given to us before we start the proof. So given AD is a median. So what is the takeaway from this point? Which means BD is equal to DC. Okay, because AD is a median, this means BD is equal to DC. And the ratio that they have given here, I'm going to write it in terms of fractions. So AX divided by XD is equal to 2 by 3. So now what is to be proved? To prove is BX is equal to 4XY. Now I have a construction here, so let's make the construction. So the construction in this case is going to be to draw a line DE that will be parallel to XY or BY. So this is DE parallel to BY or XY, whichever way you list it out, that is done. So I'm going to list the construction, draw DE parallel to BY. Okay, by BY it will automatically become parallel to XY, so that's understood in the construction. Now let's start with the proof. So the first thing we are going to take this triangle AXY. So triangle AXY and triangle ADE. So the smaller triangle and this bigger triangle to prove congruency. So angle A will be common in both sides because this is what is there in both the triangles. Then angle AXY will be equal to angle ADE. This angle will be equal to this angle. Why? Because they will be corresponding angles of parallel lines. So corresponding angles of parallel lines. So this means triangle AXY is similar to triangle ADE. So according to similarity, let's write the proportion. So AX divided by AD will be equal to AY divided by AE will be equal to XY divided by DE. Now AX by XD is given. So if I have to change that, it can be rewritten as AX by AD will be 2 divided by 2 plus 3, which will be 5. So I'm going to use that notation here. So this is 2 by 5 is equal to, I'm not bothered about AY by YE. I need this XY term in the proof. So I'm skipping this proportion and taking up only this. So this is XY is equal to DE, which means 2 times of DE is equal to 5 times of XY. So now we will mark that particular part. Now we will take the second set of triangles that we are going to prove like this. So in this case, let's take the triangle CDE. So triangle CDE and triangle CBY. This smaller triangle to this smaller triangle. So I'm going to say again, angle C is common. So angle C is common angle. So that can be done. Now we have, according to the construction, DE is parallel to BY. So I can write that this angle will be equal to this angle by corresponding this one. So angle CED is equal to angle CY by CYB, which is going to be, the reason is corresponding angles. So this is the reason of parallel lines we have already constructed, which means triangle CDE is similar to triangle CBY. Now let's start the proportionality because of this particular similarity. So here what happens is we will be able to say as CD divided by CB will be equal to CE divided by CY will be equal to DE divided by BY. So in this case, we just need to know CD is okay, but what about CB? CB will be nothing but 2 times of CD. Why? Because we already said that BD and DC are going to be equal because AD is a median. So I'm going to rewrite this proportionality as CD divided by 2 times of CD is equal to, this is not my constraint or requirement, so I'm skipping this proportionality and taking this. This is equal to DE divided by BY. So this means I can do a cross multiplication. So let's first simplify this. This is 1 by 2 is equal to DE divided by BY. So BY is equal to 2 times of DE. So we have another equation for 2 times of DE. Let's compare the LHS and RHS in both that case. So here what happens? This is going to be 2 times of DE is given to be 5xy. This is also equal to by. We just computed from the previous expression. So now let's break down by. By can be written as bx plus xy is equal to 5xy. So if I want bx, it is equal to 5xy minus xy. So bx is equal to 4 times of xy, and that's what we needed to prove. So hence proved. In the next video, we will see the solution for the section E in this question paper. See you in the next video. Bye.